Another team and a guy you mentioned there for potential coach of the year. We've talked ad nauseum about what Ben Johnson has brought to the Bears, but what stands out the most to you about the Bears season thus far?
He's changed everything. It's really the same thing that we just talked about with Liam Cohn. He's elevated Caleb Williams. He's gotten a former number 1 overall pick who had all the talent in the world to play just like that. Now that you ask me that question, honestly, Chicago and Jacksonville, really similar. Same type of situations unfolding in each place. A coach comes in. By the way, in his opening press conference, Ben Johnson takes a shot at Matt LaFleur. People are like, what's this guy doing? Right?
Yeah.
But he's backed it up so far. He's elevated the number 1 pick at quarterback, like Liam Cohn has done. The entire franchise, which people thought of the Bears as an afterthought. Nobody took them seriously. The Jaguars were an afterthought. Nobody took them seriously. They've risen up. They're competing for the number 1 seed. The Bears have risen up. They're competing for the number 1 seed. Both teams have revived their rushing attacks. Travis Etienne is thriving in Jacksonville. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai have become a force in Chicago. Both defenses, great at causing turnovers. I don't have it in front of me, but I'll bet you Chicago and Jacksonville are, if not the top 2 teams in plus-minus ratio, right near the top. You can look it up as we're going through this. It is amazing to me how similar Chicago and Jacksonville are. But Ben Johnson was viewed as the number 1 head coaching candidate during the hiring cycle last year, and he has backed it up and validated it because his schemes, the way he attacks teams are incredible. I even love his post-game speeches. I know they're like a little high schoolish, but they're awesome. I mean, that is just fun to watch. You could watch that stuff over and over again. That energy goes right through you. You can just feel it. It's incredible. But what's happening in Chicago is happening in Jacksonville. And I really do believe that it comes back to the coaches, Liam Cohn in Jacksonville, Ben Johnson in Chicago. They've risen up. And when we're going through the coaching cycle this year again, teams are going to be asking themselves, how do we find somebody like Ben Johnson or Liam Cohn that's going to stabilize our franchise, elevate our quarterback, revive our ground attack, cause turnovers on defense, and change the culture in our city?
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. And to your point, in the plus-minus for turnovers, the Bears are the number 1 team in the NFL with a plus 21 differential, and the Jags are tied for 3rd with the Rams with a plus 12 differential. So
there you go.
Yep, anytime you're doing that, obviously you're going to be in good shape. I've watched so many Bears-Packers games in my lifetime, and I think the biggest thing, not only do they just not win that game on Saturday, they fizzle out, they don't recover the onside kick, whatever the case may be. But every time a new head coach comes in and the team has a bad first year, we always hear, hey, well, he's just got to get his culture in there. He's got to get his guys in there. The truly great elite head coaches, their culture takes form in training camp. It's not even a question. People were talking about, hey, are Caleb and Ben Johnson going to be able to get along this year after that week 1 loss to the Vikings? And then it was really like, since then, someone snapped their fingers, everybody bought in, and this has been a completely different team. You look at all these teams with first-year head coaches who are really good. There is no question about what their identity is, and there's no question about how good their culture is. So you have to be wildly impressed with the Bears. And on the flip side of that, Shefty, it's very, very, very evident how important Ben Johnson was to the Lions.
And by the way, one more. Ben Johnson, Lions not the same without him. Liam Cohn, Bucks not the same without him. You want one more comparison analogy that links up Ben Johnson? In fact, I just thought of this. They should be co-coaches of the year.
I got no gripe with that.
Right? Like, we're talking about all these great, worthy, deserving, although Mike Vrabel probably belongs with them as well. But in this particular case, I don't know. I mean, those are the three guys that really stand out. And you can see where they would belong. But how about Chicago, Jacksonville, Super Bowl?
No, thank you.
How about
no, thank you.
How about Chicago, New England Super Bowl rematch from 1985?
I can get on board with that a little bit more. I don't know. And really, it has nothing to do with being a Packers fan.
Yeah.
And I just have a sour taste in my mouth because the Packers outplayed them for 55 minutes on Saturday.
Hey, let me say this to you. I'm watching that game, and I'm saying to myself, Matt LaFleur is calling a brilliant game. You lose your starting quarterback, you turn to your backup quarterback. They're making all the right calls, doing all the right things. They were incredible. And it's unfortunate that they couldn't recover an onside kick that they had an 88% chance to recover. And it changes the conversation or narrative because all the ways we're talking about Ben Johnson now, we could have been talking about Matt LaFleur and the Packers. But for one onside kick. So let's keep that in mind as well. But it doesn't diminish the job that Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen have done. But Green Bay was so close, and Green Bay played a great game. They had two issues. They retreated on the onside kick, and then they couldn't convert in overtime and allowed the big passing. Like, that onside kick, I just cannot believe it still. The way I'm watching it, they completely botched it. They mishandled it.
Yeah. I mean, it was, Seattle in 2015 in the NFC Championship all over again. So,
It's like Randy Moss said to me Sunday morning, that onside kick, it's like playing shortstop or infield in baseball. You go get the ball, you attack it. You don't let it come to you. And Romeo Doubs let it come to him, and it cost him and the Packers and changed the narrative in this podcast this week here, Todd.
Yeah, without a doubt. But again, hats off to the Bears because they still had to go out and win the game, and they did. They went down and tied it up with a touchdown and then ultimately won in overtime. And that is a big testament to Ben Johnson. All right, Jeffy, let's move on to topic number 3. 49ers last night get a massive road win over the Colts, and boy, did they look good. And it's not guaranteed to happen, but they have the opportunity to do something pretty special here over the next few weeks, months, however you want to phrase it.
My good friend, my colleague Phil Yates pointed this out to me this morning. Hadn't really thought about it until he alluded to it. But how about this? The 49ers, as we head into Christmas week, have the opportunity to not play another road game this season and to play 5 straight home games. Follow me here. They play the Bears on Sunday night. They play the Seahawks the next week. If they win those 2 games, they are the number 1 seed in the NFC. And we haven't talked about the 49ers as a potential 1 seed all year long, but here they come. If they win the next 2 at home, 2 home games, 2 tough home games, they will be the 1 seed. They will have 2 home games to play the Super Bowl at home in San Francisco. So it is possible that the 49ers could play 5 more games, all in Santa Clara, all at home, and not have to travel again. Now, I don't know if they're good enough to beat Chicago and Seattle and then win 2 home playoff games to get to the Super Bowl. But guess what? They have that opportunity. They control their fate. And if they play well, they will not have to travel again this season.
Yeah, and that has to be just a tantalizing, thing that's being dangled in front of them, which again, why, yes, they've clinched a playoff berth, but they truly have everything out in front of them if they can kind of finish this season strong. And it'll be interesting because I don't know if their defense is, it's just so banged up, and I don't know how you can withstand that, but we've seen their